Okay, if you got a book handy, page 22, formulas. If you don't, just follow along carefully. What is a formula, first and foremost? What is a formula? Maybe you have an example of a formula that you can give me. We can go from there. We've worked with formulas before. We've had formula quizzes before. Yes, Josiah. It is like a way to do something. Sarah? Okay, so you said length times width times height. What did you give me? You gave me a formula for what? Volume, right? Volume of a rectangular prism. Okay. Length times width times height. So let's go with that formula, length times width times height. And if I use it correctly, I should be able to get an accurate volume of a rectangular prism if I use that formula every single time. Now, every formula is going to be a little bit different from the next. Here, the only operation that's present is multiplication, which means I might be able to, play with the formula a little bit. I might be able to change the order of it. I might be able to pick whatever I want for length, width, and height. There's certain things I can do with this formula that I can't do with others, okay? Bottom line is if I don't follow the formula correctly, I'm probably not going to get the answer that I'm looking for, okay? Each of these stand for a different part of my rectangular prism, the length, the width, the height. If I were to give you another formula, pi r squared, which is one that we've used in the past, that's the formula for area of a circle. Okay? Now, we didn't often write it like that. We wrote it a different way, but it meant the same thing. Remember? Pi was 3.14. And how did I write r squared? R times r. Okay? What we did with that formula is we put it into a language that was a little bit easier to understand, which is okay as well. You can change, you can adjust, you just can't change the meaning of it, okay? If we decide to go 3.14 times r times 2, it's not the same thing as r squared, all right? So it's kind of like a blueprint that we use, and if you use it correctly and you do all the operations within the formula correctly, you're going to be just fine. Now, what they give us are some examples. So let's say that area is equal to length times width. Area of what? Where does that fit the best? Square, we call it s times s, because all the sides are the same. Technically, you're on the right track. A rectangle. Okay? Area of a rectangle's formula is length times width. And let's assume that the length is 9. We don't know the width, but the area is 108. Okay? We have enough information right now to solve this equation. All we have to do is substitute. So I know the area. A is 108. I know that length is 9. I just don't know W. So all I did was plug everything in that I knew. For the letters that I had, length was 9, area was 108. Now this should look like any of the equations that you had for today's assignment. How am I going to find W? I'm going to do the opposite, which is what? By what, Micah? Divide both sides by 9 and 12. The width is going to be 12. Okay. You good? Area is equal to base times height divided by 2. What formula is this for? Yeah, it's a triangle. Very good. Okay, remember triangles, we had a few different options. So I'm going to give you the specifics. It'll be up to you to solve. I'm going to give you a base of 8. I'm going to give you a height of 10. Solve. Okay, I'm going to use this formula. B right next to H means what operation? Okay, so if I know that B is 8 and H is 10, and that all goes over 2. What's 8 times 10? 80. 80 divided by 2. Area is 40. Okay, so once you have the formula, they're going to give you values, whether they give you B or H or A. The first thing you'll need to do in each case is to just plug it in. Just set it up first of all. Okay, and then go from there. Give you another one. Let's say volume is equal to S to the third. And let's say that S is equal to 4. Find V. Okay, so volume is equal to S cubed, which we said was 4 times 4 times 4. And Joe, what do we get? Your volume is equal to 64. Yes, and if there were units, I would cube them. Okay? If they don't give you any units, don't worry about labeling. If they do, then we label. I'll give you the sheet. Take a look at. 5. Make sure Cal gets one, please. Witness. Make sure that Trinity gets one, please. Okay, let's take a quick look at the written section, 1 through 4. Okay. And off to the side, they give you a square. Okay. So take a look with me. This is going to help you with the rest of that. All right. If we can get off to a good start on 1 through 4, you're going to have an easy enough time with 1 through 16, which is what your assignment's going to be. Okay. Now, next to each set, next to each group, the first group they give you is 1 through 4. And you're going to be using what figure for that group? A square. Good. Yes, square. Now, they also say P is equal to 4S. What do you suppose P stands for? Perimeter. What is perimeter? The distance around, correct? They also give you the formula for area, which is side squared, which really means what? S times S. Very good. Now, look at number 1. Number 1 says, find P if S is 3. So what formula are we going to use for number 1? This one. Because I can't find P using this formula, right? It's not applicable. So if they want me to find the perimeter, I have to use the perimeter formula. So plug in, what is S? If S is 3, what's the perimeter? 12. So for number 1, your perimeter is 12. Okay? I would make sure that I'm getting this down. It's very important. Number 2, find S if P is 20. So again, we're going to use this formula, but P is 20. I don't know what S is. Again, looks like a formula you would have had on today's assignment. How are we going to find S? Divide both sides by 4. And S is going to equal 5. If you're not sure, plug it in. If you plug it in and say, okay, 4 times S, which is 5, does it give you a perimeter of 20? Good? Number 3. Find A if S is equal to 15. Now what formula are we going to use? Find A if S is equal to 16. Okay? So 16 squared, which really means what? So you're going to have to do the work. 16 times 16. Number 4. 4 says, find A if S is equal to 8. Again, I'm going to use this one. Find A if S is equal to 8. 8 squared, which means 8 times 8, which is, okay? So 1, 2, and 3 have been done. 1, 2, and 4 have been done for you. You have to do a little bit of work to get number 3, but that's what you're going to do. Okay? Now the next group, 5 through 8, you're not working with a square anymore. You're working with, who's that for? Sydney. Okay. 5 through 8, you're not working with a square anymore. You're working with a triangle, which brings a whole new set of formulas. Now in the back, (9 through 12) is a rectangle. So if you want to draw a little rectangle in there, be my guest. It didn't print. The rectangle itself didn't print. Okay? So draw yourself a little rectangle. Label it. Put one of the sides by the W, the other side by the L. You got a W here. Draw yourself a little rectangle. And there's your L. Done. And then the last one, 13 through 16, volume, length times width times height. It's a rectangular prism, like the Kleenex box. You want to go ahead and draw that? Go ahead. You don't need it to solve the problem. You don't need the picture. You're not using the picture. You're using the variables. You're using the formulas. Okay? Let's, you got all this? Good. Let's take a look at number 13. Okay? The formula, volume is equal to length times width times height. Number 13 says, find V if L is 5, W is 3, and H is 4. How are we going to find V? Multiply 5 times 3 times 4. So if I went 5 times 4, I get 20. 20 times 3, 60. Okay? Very good. That's 13. Let's try 14. 14, we're going to use the same formula, L times W times H, but they say find L if V is equal to 24. I don't know L. W is 2, and H is 3. What are we going to do with this one? First of all, I didn't, listen carefully, here's what I didn't do, and this is what I don't want you to do. I didn't look at the problem and then go hide under a rock somewhere. I have a formula right here. All I did was I took the information that they gave me and I substituted it in my problem. If I knew what V was, I put it down where V was. I didn't know L, therefore I wrote the letter L, but I knew W was 2 and H was 3. Can I do anything more with this problem? Can I simplify? I have to solve for L. Yes, what am I going to do? Can I go 2 times 3? Sure, what do I get? 6. Now it's on this side. 6L, right? To get L by itself, I'm going to do what? Divide both sides by 6. L equals 4. Does it work? If you plug in a 4 here, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. It worked. Okay? So they're not that bad if you substitute in and you show some work. If you've been taking good notes, this won't be an issue for you. Okay? 1 through 16, okay, is your assignment.